Hi, David Wallimann here. Thanks for joining me today. This is a new Ask Wallimann episode. Every Wednesday, I pick 3 questions that have been asked through the week, and I answer them in a video, and that's that video. If you have any questions, leave them below, but we're going to get started right away with question number 1 from Formulets. And this question is concerns an upload that I did a few days ago. The upload was a song playthrough from my album Evolving Seeds of Glory, and the song is I Turn to You. So this question concerns arpeggios, but I'm not quite sure which arpeggios you are talking about, but that's okay. The answer is going to be the same, but I'm thinking you're either talking about the arpeggios in the solo, like these right there that you're hearing, or the ones that you hear in the background right there. So I'm not quite sure which one you're talking about, but it's okay. The answer is the same. Here's the question. You can tell a lot of work went into those arpeggios. Makes me wonder if you consider them the hardest technical part of the song. I'm thinking it would, but I play other people's music mostly. It's probably a little different if you're the composer. So thank you for asking the question. Thank you for noticing. First, yes, when you play other people's music, I think it's always harder than if you are playing your own music. Some musical content from other artists might be very easy for them to play, and for me it's so difficult because I'm not them, and that's cool. That means that it's not about trying to reach the level where you're comfortable with other people's music, because it's always going to be difficult. But that's the same with language. Like if I tried to imitate my wife speaking, it would be very difficult because that doesn't come naturally. Yet if you tried to speak exactly like I do, it would be hard too. We're all unique, and if we embrace that, that's awesome. That is just a side note. But concerning the arpeggios, personally, that was not the hardest part, but that song might seem very simple to play, and maybe it is. I don't know. But for me, it was really difficult because the hardest part was to get all the notes that I'm playing delivered in the exact way that I wanted them to deliver them. That was the difficulty. It's a slow song. It's a melodic song. There's no crazy scales, no crazy runs. But I really tried to have every note come out the way I wanted them to come out, with nuances. And as you know, as a guitar player, you could play the same exact note 1,000 different ways. A lot of different subtleties that you can bring out of the note. You can mute it. You can emphasize certain frequencies by bending it so that some frequencies come out. I wanted to control everything, really make sure that one note was played at a time. And if you rewatch this video, you'll see that my hand position is a little awkward, but that's why. But it's because I'm really trying to control everything in the song, and because my hand position is awkward anyways. But yeah, the hardest part was really controlling all those notes. So it's a very challenging song for me to play. Not in the way that most people would think, because again, it's really slow, nothing too crazy, no crazy positions, but I wanted to control everything. And also I wanted to pay attention to the choice of where I would play things. So as you know, you could play the same note on the guitar in multiple strings, multiple frets, same pitch, but they have a different brightness. The closer to the neck you play, the brighter the sound. The closer to the bridge you play, the darker the sound. And I wanted to take that into consideration too. So everything is calculated in that song, so that was the hard part. But thank you for asking. The second question is from Vince J151. Thank you for asking this. Here it is. This one regards the 12th masterclass that I uploaded. There's actually a full playlist with all the masterclasses. Every Monday, a new class for you guys. So this is from session number 12. Here's the question. I can think and play musically without relying on shapes when improvising over a simple backing track. However, there's another bridge which needs crossing, which I struggle with. You touched on it today in that video. So here's the question. How can I effectively mix solo lines into chord melody? In other words, connecting the solo lines with all the different chords, making sure that the line works on that particular chord, but also as a whole, the full solo. So how do you blend both together? Creating something that flows melodically through the full track, but also that fits all those chords and not just think in terms of a global scale and just going up and down. I think that's the question. It kind of goes on talking about colors, sounds, and so just kind of more guideline here. I think the struggle for a lot of players is to bring together the mental knowledge of things, scales, modes, arpeggios, shapes, and the heart of playing when you're playing. What I mean by that is that before you played guitar, before you played music, or before you played an instrument, I should say, you probably still liked music, and you probably had part of your mind that maybe was not as developed, but that was still creative musically. For me, I remember when I was a kid, before I played guitar, before I played any instrument, but I would always make up songs in my mind. Always. Remember harmonizing stuff in the car, just listening to the radio and harmonizing, asking my parents, hey, sing this part, and I'll sing this, and it happened to be in harmony, but at the time I didn't really know, but I had the heart, the creative heart process, and just did that. And then when I started learning an instrument, so guitar, started when I was 15. When I started that, I started to discover all these concepts and rules and that were really frustrating for me. And for a while, I dove in, like the theory stuff, the modes, the arpeggios, the harmony. It was very frustrating, and I was really scared that I would lose that heart matter of playing, where I was creative and stuff, and I thought I'd be a robot playing all those modes. But yet I still did it. I discovered that it was not true. But when you're playing, that's where you kind of want to blend both worlds together. The theory knowledge, the mental, with the creative process. And the analogy is when you're learning a new language, you learn the vocabulary, you learn grammar. And I took Portuguese in school. And that's a bad example because I can't speak it now. But English, okay. Back in France, I took English in school and learned all the vocabulary, all the conjugation, all the grammar, all this. And when I would speak it in the school setting, it was like I could speak it like, my name is David. I like bananas. Bananas. I like. Whatever. It was very, very basic stuff. But until I moved to the States 12 years ago, that's where I dove in, and that's where I had the knowledge, the theory knowledge, the grammar, the rules. But then I had to dive in and speak to other people, communicate. And that's where the rules kind of embedded into my heart. And eventually, I just, like I'm doing now today, I just speak to you. I can go back to the rules. I can spell the words that I'm telling you because I know the rules. And knowing the rules helped me dive in, but eventually it's both. So back to music. When you improvise, I think it should be both. The theory helps you have kind of a guideline, and it helps you get unstuck of uncreative processes. So that's where, if you're improvising over a chord progression and you feel that just playing from the heart, listening and hearing, well, it sounds a little boring at some point because you're just relying on a pentatonic, for example. Maybe some people can relate. Well, that's where you use your theory and you're like, well, I've been playing pentatonic for a while. All my licks are just kind of sounding the same. And I recognize, because the chord progression goes on several times, that there's this A dominant 7 chord at some point in the song, A7. Well, when next time that chord comes, I'm going to try something else. I'm going to branch out of the pentatonic scale, and I'm going to use a few notes of the dominant 7 arpeggio. You don't have to play it up and down, just a few, and see what happens. And that'll open up a new world. So that happened because of theory knowledge of matching elements with the chords, the arpeggio, the chord. And then you smoothly transition into being creative and everything blends together. I have no idea if that answered the question. Sorry if it didn't, but hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight. And then finally, the third question is from Yakov Vitrenko. And sorry, I mispronounced your name probably. This is from masterclass session number 12 also. So that's the last one I uploaded. And this is the question. Dear Dave, may I ask you a question about the way the jazz player's brain function in real time? Assume that you're improvising over a song and an E7 chord is coming. Let's say you feel like putting a Mixolydian lick over that chord. So what do? Do I set up a finger structure corresponding to the E major scale, making sure that the 7th is flat? Or do I set up a finger structure corresponding to the A major scale? Or are you playing notes randomly, just staying in the high alert mode, making sure that the correct notes are hit and fixing the bad ones as they come? So those questions are great questions. I've asked those questions for a long time. First of all, I don't think I'm a jazz player. In the sense that my jazz knowledge is not that huge. It's not. I'm more of a rock player background. Grew up with Guns N' Roses, my favorite band. When I was 15, I just wanted to be in that band. And then went through Metallica and then discovered Joe Satriani, which is kind of an opening door towards more theory-orientated things, and then discovered Dream Theater. And what I teach here is not necessarily what I listen to. One of my favorite albums currently is an older album from Symphony X, Paradise Lost, I think is the name of it. Anyways, all that to say that I don't know that I'm the best. Don't take what I say as this is the jazz master. Not at all. But I'll tell you what I think. I think what you're thinking as you're playing is going to determine the way that you're playing. And if you're thinking too much in terms of following the chords and following the structure and too much theory, then your playing is going to sound kind of scolar, maybe lacking a little bit of personality and a little bit of who you are and a little bit of feeling. And I don't think I play like that. Or I try not to play like that. I don't want to play like that. What I'm thinking, though, is just like I said in the previous one, the previous question kind of fits this one too. What I'm thinking is more of sounds in my head, and then those sounds match some shapes, but I don't have to think about the shape. The analogy is talking again. I've said that before. I'm sorry if I repeat myself. But as a French guy, the R's in English are hard to say because you don't have that smooth sound, R. It sounds harsher. An R, the letter R is And so that's why you hear a lot of French people, when they talk, it sounds like this. The sounds that you don't have in the French language, like v, it's translated into z, gz. And so when I speak with a French accent, it sounds very, you can very much tell that this is French because that's how the French people talk, because the sounds in French are not corresponding to the sounds in English. I did the work to study how do I have to put my tongue to do v instead of z. Big difference. This is the French accent. This is the American accent. V, z, difference. At first, when I did that sound, v, I had to think of where my tongue goes. Now I don't. I just say it. At first, when I would play over an E dominant 7, I would have to think about how does that E dominant 7 shape look like? Now, I just play it. I hear it and I play it. I hear the sound v, I just say v. I don't have to think. My tongue has to go on top of my teeth. V, a little bit of air coming through. I don't have to think about it anymore. Same with music, it will come. That's what you should aim for all the time. Hearing, reproducing, hearing, reproducing. Hopefully that's the right word. Reproduce. No, that's not. That's got another connotation. Hearing, delivering, but without thinking about how do I deliver, you just deliver. You associate sounds in your head with muscle movements and figure movements. You speak musically. I hope that helps. Thank you for these questions. Those were great food for thoughts. They helped me too a lot because they help me reanalyze my playing, refocus, and see where I'm at. So thank you so much. We're all in this together. Remember that music is not a competition. It's not. It's about expressing yourself. It can be a competition, but that's not what this channel is about. So if you want that, go somewhere else. Thank you for watching my videos. If you have questions, leave them below. I will see you very soon. A lot more videos on this channel. Watch them. Maybe you'll learn something. Maybe not. I'll see you next time. Until then, practice well.